Okay, we're live.
Okay, we're calling the meeting to order, our Livermore and Amador Valley Transit Authority meeting, the Finance and Administration meeting at 4 o'clock on Tuesday, October 27th. And then we'll go ahead and do a roll call, please.
Vice Chair Coomber,
I'm here.
Director Penton,
Present.
Chair Hernandez.
Present.
We have a roll quorum, sorry.
Thank you. Moving on to me. Anyone in the public is able to speak, or do we have any speakers open to the public?
There are 2 people in the public, but no speakers as of right now. And I didn't receive any message from the public via email.
All right, thank you. So we'll move it on to item number 4, minutes of September 22nd, 2020 meeting. If I can please get an approval.
So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded. Please take roll.
Vice Chair Coomber, Director
Aye.
Penton,
Aye.
Chair Hernandez.
Aye. Unanimously, it passes. So item number 5 is the treasurer's report for September 2020.
Okay, so, sorry, my auditor's supposed to be here and he's not. So,
Actually is, but he came in as an attendee.
oh, okay, so he'll be able to speak?
Yeah, let me see if I can do this real
Okay,
quick.
good, I was panicking. Okay, so back to the treasurer's report, sorry. Presented before you is the September 2020 treasurer's report. Our expenses are, let me backtrack. Again, so our comparison of actuals versus budget, we're using the revised budget, not the adopted budget. The adopted budget was higher, but we're still below where we should be on expenses, partially because COVID continued longer than we thought it would. So it'll probably be under most of the year. On revenues, though, we are also under. That's just because MTC is a little behind getting money out, but it's okay because we have quite a bit of money from past years in our due to LTF fund that is keeping our cash flow going. So we're doing fine. Our bank accounts are all looking great.
Okay, great.
I have a question. On the ALAF investment account activity, you know, it's got 5,900,000+, but the balance is exactly the same 30 days, September 1 to September 30. Wouldn't that change by less than 1% or something? I mean,
No,
wouldn't that have some?
We get our interest quarterly, and so we will get the interest for that first quarter in October. So next month you'll see it,
Okay.
and it's usually a nice chunk of change. But yeah, it's quarterly. They just deposit it quarterly.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that's the only question I had.
You'll see it next month.
Hernandez.
Okay. Director or Member Comer, do you have any questions?
No questions, no.
Okay, great. Thank you. So we will go ahead and we don't need approval on this, correct? We're just going to move it forward?
You need to approve it and send it to the board approval.
Sure. If
All
we
right,
could-
I'll move that. We forward it.
Second the motion.
Okay, can we please get a roll call? Can we get a roll call, please?
Jennifer? Sure. All right, I'll do a roll call. Chair Hernandez,
Aye.
Member Cooper,
Aye.
Member Penton.
Aye.
Thank you. I'm a little out of practice.
Okay, no worries. The vote passes unanimously. So item number 6, the fiscal year 2020 comprehensive annual financial report.
Okay, so this is our 2020 year-end financial report. It has the accumulation of our year's work, and the head of our audit team, David Albee from Mays & Associates, is here, and so I will let him present to you and answer any questions.
Great. Thank you for having me. My name is David Albee. I'm the audit partner at Mays and Associates. And we have for your review today is the Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, also known as the CAFR, for the year ending June 30, 2020. And I'm pleased to say that on page 3 of the PDF there, you'll see that it's our audit opinion, and it's an unmodified audit opinion. That's the highest level of assurance that a CPA firm can give an entity. So congratulations, you passed your audit. There was no new accounting standards this year that came effective that would affect the financials. And in fact, the next one that's really coming down the pipeline is having to do with leases, but that's not going to change anything until June 30, 2022. So we have some time for that. And actually, I don't think it's going to have a material effect on LAFTA anyway. Our plan is to, once we get the approval, to take this to get the GFOA award. We have the award for last year that's in the CAFR, but we'll do it again. Also in this report is what's called the single audit. And so that's a separate audit that we have to do when you have federal funds. So LAFTA had a little bit over $1 million in federal funding this year. So that kicked off a single audit. So you'll see the compliance piece in the back of that as well for those funds. We also issue what's called a memorandum on internal controls. It's kind of also known as the management letter. And I'm pleased to say that we have no material weaknesses. We have no significant deficiencies to report. So that's all good news. And the only thing we have to report is other matters about upcoming GASB pronouncements, like I said, in the next couple years. And there's a required communication piece of that memo that we're supposed to tell you. And we have no disagreements with management. We don't think there was any unusual transactions that lacked any kind of authoritative nature. And there's nothing that we think that needs to be elevated to this committee. So with that, I'd like to thank Tamara for all of her help. It's always useful. She's always helpful during the audit, and it's especially difficult now doing it remotely. But I'd like to open up to any questions you might have.
Do any of the directors have any questions?
Yeah, I have a couple things.
Okay.
One, just noting under revenues in the pie chart, the board of directors is 0%. That's we're obviously doing our job there. Let me move down in my. We should work on that, Michael. You know, I'm just saying. But as I move to page, I thought it was 8. Let me see. Or maybe it's 15. Yeah, page 15. I was looking at rail planning to see rail planning was passed through, but I kind of got one part here. It said program operating expenses, and it shows $2.285 million for the executive director. Well, what does that mean? I would let Michael answer this first, but Tamara, if you can tell me. I'm just trying to figure what that is.
Well, you know, his stipend. No, it's not him. It's his department, and so it's a lot of. It's mostly professional services under his department. Some of the contracts and stuff. For this new year, we've completely changed the rail, the way we're doing it. They have their own accounting software. Right. They'll completely, for 21, they're completely separate. LAFTA is actually billing them instead of transferring money in between. And things are going more into the proper departments instead of just being attributed to, this is Michael's project, everything goes to Michael. Right. So, yeah, his stipend's a portion of that, but it's a small percentage.
Well, we could run with, we pay Michael $2.2 million as the ED for the rail. Okay, I got that. We can do that. What I was looking for, Tamara, is can you point me to where on this, what is LAFTA charging rail for the services it's charging? Is that included in that?
Yes. So LAFTA doesn't really charge the rail much. We have Michael's stipend. Tony and I each receive $25,000 a year. Right. But that's it. That's all LAFTA gets from the rail. We don't get administrative fees or anything else for the work we do. But
that's all in that number there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. All their expenses are included here. It's just that, you know, like presently they owe LAFTA some funds because we've been their cash flow. We're trying to fix all that so that they really are a separate entity not a derivative of LAFTA.
Right. Okay. Answers that question. I just thought it was kind of a big number for an ED. I had a feeling there was an answer, but and then I guess I don't want to have to dig through this whole thing. Is my understanding that the unfunded liability, you're currently at about 73% funded?
Are you talking about in our OPEB?
Yeah. Or OPEB,
Yeah.
is that OPEB that you're
Or-
73%?
Or the pension? Well, let me look, hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you look at page 43,
Okay.
you'll see, yeah, you're correct, 73.37% for pension.
And that, yeah, I know I had looked at it. That's on 43. Let me go back to that.
She went to May.
Yeah, 73.37, right. Or no, that was in 19. Okay,
That's the measurement
So-
date. You got to remember, it's always a year behind
Right,
for pension.
right. Okay, I just wanted to confirm that. And then is OPEB right below that then? I'm trying to figure out where OPEB is.
Yeah,
Can you-
OPEB is just a couple
that-
pages down. Let's see.
Yeah,
If you look at page number 45 is OPEB. So
okay,
your planned fiduciary net position, so the cash that you have above, as opposed to the liability, equates to 82.5%.
okay. So is 32%, that just doesn't, it looks like it's from 17, it was 62%, then 52% and 32. Is there a reason why we're trending that way?
I'm sorry, there's a customer up front.
Okay,
So what you really want to look, that's basically looking at just covered payroll. We're more looking
Right.
at 82%, how much cash you have set aside. So as opposed to the liability.
okay. So
And
the
that's-
82 is the number we would run with then?
Correct. So you
Okay.
have a total OPEB liability as of the measurement date of June 30, 2019 of that 2.3 million, 2.4
Right.
million. You have cash set aside, so that's your planned fiduciary net position of 1.9 million.
Fine, yeah,
So that's
okay,
that's a good position. A lot of
Yeah.
times at a lot of the agencies I've been to and I've audited, pension was purely pay as you. I'm sorry, OPEB was purely pay as you go, where there was
Mhm.
absolutely no money set aside for benefits. So that's a good position to be in my opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and we have money set aside so that if something does happen there, but the reason why you probably don't want to have it at 100% is because once you put it in there, you can't get it back. Correct?
Right, and there's a lot of discussion about what level you should be at. That's for you as management to decide and the actuaries to decide. But I usually see that's a real healthy position to be in at that 82%.
Yeah, and I think
so,
it's philosophy. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Dr. Penn.
no, the question is, I forget the acronym, it's like CERTB or something. Is that what this is placed in with CalPERS?
Right,
Yes.
it's within CERBIT. Mhm.
Oh, okay. And so at 82%, isn't there a point where that fund will eventually pay for itself? For the remaining liability?
It all depends on how things change in terms of your census data, your employee makeup, and then what changes of assumptions. And then the big ticket is really what the discount rate is. If you
Okay.
believe that they're going to be able to achieve a long-term rate of return of 7%, or
Right.
there's a lot of factors involved.
Because I know in Pleasanton, we're at a position where we need to pay through this coming year, and then it will fund itself with the amount that we put aside. So, or we put into CERTB or whatever it's called. So that's why I was just wondering what percentage and where does that fund itself to the point where the agency doesn't have to fund it anymore? Is it always a variable?
It always determines every time
Okay.
the actuarial does a report, if there's a labor negotiations and benefits change, if discounts rates change, it
Right.
needs to be assessed. I would caution you to say if we hit this percentage, we'll be done forever.
Right.
It's an annual assessment that needs to be done.
Okay. Those are the questions I have, Chair. Thank you.
Director
Jerry
Coomer?
asked all the good questions. Yeah, I just wanted to comment. I'm pleased that we have had no new accounting standards this year. It seemed like we had a brisk bunch over the last few years, and I'm glad to not have to conform to something on the fly this year. It's awesome.
All right,
So
thank you.
let me,
Go ahead.
Jerry, you mentioned the pie chart and the board of directors being 0%. That
Right.
number, when I first started here, was actually much higher. And because there were other things besides stipends attributed to the board of directors, like different things that they had asked staff to, do. And so they attributed that to the board of directors. And Cindy McGovern asked that we stop charging those to that department because she didn't want people thinking that she was getting paid too much.
Huh? Well,
Yeah, way
that's
back in
good.
the day.
Well, I just think that we can work on this in the future so that we, get it bumped to 1%. I mean, if we're paying $2.2 million to our ED for rail services, is like somewhere we can get a percentage. So, but anyways, those are my questions. I'm good. Thanks, Tamara. I appreciate that.
All right, thank you. So then we'll go ahead and approve it to move forward to the board.
I do believe it's an action item, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so moved.
And seconded?
Well, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, I'm back. Sorry, my computer had kicked me off. Vice Chair Coomber,
Yes. Aye.
Director Penton,
Yes.
Chair Hernandez.
Yes, and it passes unanimously.
Sorry for the hesitation. I had barking dogs in the background, so.
So I have my.
No worries. Okay, so we'll move that item to the board, and it's been approved unanimously. So we will move to item number 7.
I have, and my 4 parties are clean.
All right. So I have this agenda item, and the long and short of this is back in October of 2018, the board approved a set of fare policies. And in the process of doing that, we received some recommendations from the Tri-Valley Accessible Advisory Committee. And their advice was to have the senior and disabled monthly pass increase from $18 to $22 in January of 2019. So a piece of the increase for senior and disabled monthly passes would happen a year after the main policy changes had been approved in October of 2018. And then to have that same senior and disabled monthly pass increase from $22 to $25 in January of 2021. So a couple of years later, a final increase. And then correspondingly with the paratransit fare, to have it increase from $350 to $375 in January of 2019. And then again, increase another 25 cents to $4 in January of 2021. So, as you're aware, with the pandemic, the ridership on paratransit and the fixed route system for that matter just tanked. And we're currently carrying right around 40 passengers a day on the paratransit. So it gives you an idea of how far down it's gone. We were up near 200 pre-COVID. So, staff in discussing the fiscal impact and the impact on seniors has a recommendation that we postpone those 2 increases, the senior and disabled monthly pass from going to 18 to 22, and then the paratransit fare increase from $350 to $375 until January of 2020, and then correspondingly have that final increase on both of those fares in January of 2022. Again, the fiscal impact on the agency is negligible. And I think as we think about the seniors and the disabled who are riding the system, this would be important for them, given the pandemic and the recession, to help them move along through that. So would be happy to talk about any other components of those original fare policy changes, but the essence of this agenda item is to consider postponing those 2 fare increases for 1 additional year.
Any questions?
No questions from me.
None here.
No, I have no questions. I just have a comment. I completely agree with Delane. I think everybody's going through a difficult time, and you know,
Yeah.
it's even more difficult for our seniors and for disabled people. So I definitely see no problems with this at all whatsoever.
People who do this.
Yeah, I agree. Of all of our
I would be scared to do it.
of all of our writers, I think this
Mhm.
group especially probably needs this kind of motion for us to do this. So I'll make a motion that we accept staff's recommendation.
And I will second that with this, with the same,
And completely unable to-
you know, has same feelings about it.
Okay. May we please get a roll call?
Vice Chair Coomber,
Aye.
I'll stay on the bottom and
Director Penton?
I'll make sure.
Aye.
Chair Hernandez,
Aye, and the vote passes unanimously. So going along, we're moving to item number 8, preview of upcoming F&A committee agenda items.
Well, we don't have anything super exciting coming up. The CAFR and budget are the most exciting things we do all year, and CAFR just finished. But the other thing is that November and December's meetings tend to be canceled because they usually fall right at Thanksgiving and Christmas. So if we have something really important come up, like we need a resolution or something for some funding agreement, we'll meet. But otherwise, there's a good chance those will be canceled.
Okay, great. Thank you. So now moving on to matters initiated by the committee members.
Got it.
I've got nothing.
Yeah, neither do I.
All right. So our next meeting will be scheduled on November 24th, but you said it was canceled.
Well, I said it will probably be canceled.
Okay.
I can't officially say that yet.
To be continued.
But I would say it's a safe bet unless, Jennifer Yeamans has some legislative thing that has to get approved. But to be honest, our funding partners all tend to disappear November and December, so we're usually pretty good.
Okay.
All right.
So then our meeting is adjourned at 4:23.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Take care.